40 cents. That is the material cost to stripe one parking stall. The going rate to charge a client for that same stall is $7. That is a 17-to-1 return on materials before you have even started talking about labor, scale, or repeat contracts. And most people have never heard of this business in their lives. Parking lot striping. Every shopping center, office building, hospital, apartment complex, and church parking lot you have ever walked through needs those lines repainted every 18 to 24 months. There are no exceptions. Faded lines create liability, violate ADA compliance rules, and make properties look neglected. Property managers do not stripe their own lots. They call someone. That someone can be you, and the math behind what they pay is genuinely hard to believe until you see it laid out. Here is the equipment reality, because this is where most guides get it wrong. There are two tiers of entry into this business. The lean start, which means a walk-behind line striper like the Graco Line Laser or the PowerLiner 850, runs between $3,000 and $7,000 new. This is a real machine that produces professional results and handles any parking lot up to about 50 stalls efficiently. The second tier is a ride-on or airless sprayer setup capable of handling massive commercial properties. Those cost significantly more and belong in year 2, not day 1. Beyond the machine, a stencil kit covering ADA handicap symbols, arrows, fire lane markings, and stop bars runs $200 to $1,000 depending on how comprehensive you go. Traffic paint, either water-based acrylic for standard jobs or oil-based for colder climates and high traffic durability, costs $30 to $50 per gallon. You'll use between 1 to 3 gallons on a standard job. Safety cones, chalk line, measuring tape, and layout tools under $300. LLC registration in a general business license, $100 to $300. General liability insurance, $1,000 to $2,500 per year, which commercial clients will ask to see before signing anything. Total, an honest professional setup lands between $5,000 and $10,000. One operator started before he had even paid for his machine by landing 2 jobs, a hospital and a Home Depot, made $3,000 in a weekend and used it to clear his equipment cost before month 1 was over. The pricing math is where this business becomes genuinely interesting. Standard restripe, which means going over existing faded lines rather than laying out a brand new lot, is the easiest and fastest work available. A 100-stall restripe takes 2 to 4 hours depending on layout complexity. At $6 to $8 per stall, that's $600 to $800 for a morning's work. Materials used on that job? Roughly $40 in paint. Your true material cost on the entire job is under 10% of what you charged. That ratio is not a typo. It is the actual economics of this business, and it is why operators who learn to price correctly and land even a modest number of accounts can reach $75,000 to $150,000 in year in net profit running a solo or 2-person operation. New layout jobs, meaning fresh asphalt with no existing lines to follow, pay significantly more. $8 to $15 per stall in most markets because they require precise measurement, chalk layout, and higher skill. Larger commercial properties generate jobs worth $3,000 to $6,000 or more in a single visit. In specialty markings, fire lane stenciling, crosswalks, directional arrows, reserved spaces, loading zones are all priced as add-ons that stack on top of the base stall rate. Here's the move that separates operators who grind individual jobs from operators who build real revenue. Recurring contracts. A strip mall with 80 stalls that you restripe twice a year at $700 per visit is $1,400 a year from one client, locked in and predictable, with almost zero acquisition cost after the first job. A property manager who trusts you, who manages 15 commercial properties, is not one client. They're 15 recurring jobs on a single phone relationship. Target property management companies directly through cold outreach and LinkedIn. One successful relationship with a regional property management firm can fill months of your schedule. Getting your first clients requires a different approach than most service businesses. Door hangers do not work here the way they do in residential services. You're selling to property managers and business owners, not homeowners. The move is direct outreach. Drive commercial zones and make a list of every property with visibly faded lines. Photograph them from the street. Email or drop into the property manager with a single image of their lot, a brief explanation of the ADA compliance liability they're carrying, and your quote. That combination, showing them the problem they already have and quoting the fix in the same message, converts at a high rate because the sale is already half made before you walked in. Google Business Profile still matters for inbound, particularly when contractors and facility managers search for line striping companies in their area. But this is fundamentally a proactive sales business in its early stages, not a passive lead business. The operators who grow fastest in year one are the ones making 10 to 15 targeted outreach contacts per week, not the ones waiting for the phone to ring. The failure modes in this business are very specific and almost always avoidable. Skipping the layout step, jumping directly to painting without proper measurements produces crooked lines and uneven spacing. Crooked lines on a commercial property get you called back to repaint at your own cost. Every experienced operator runs chalk lines first, verifies measurements, and walks the layout before the machine turns on. That extra 20 minutes per job is the difference between a clean invoice and a free repaint. Ignoring mobilization costs. Every job has fixed costs before a single drop of paint hits the pavement. Drive time, fuel, loading and setup, cones, cleanup. New operators forget to price these in and discover they've been subsidizing their own jobs. A mobilization fee or a minimum job charge of $300 to $400 protects you on small jobs where stall count alone wouldn't cover your actual costs. Painting over dirty or wet asphalt. Paint on a contaminated surface peels within weeks. Always sweep debris, verify the surface is fully dry, and if there's oil contamination from vehicle drips, use an appropriate primer before painting. Callbacks from adhesion failures destroy your reputation in a market where all your client base talks to each other at property management conferences and association meetings. Here's the scaling path. Once you're consistently booked 3 to 4 weeks out, a second person at $18 to $22 an hour dramatically increases your daily output without proportionally increasing your overhead. A second striper machine opens a second route. Two-person operations with tight commercial contracts are netting $150,000 annually with room to grow. And unlike service businesses that rely on daily bookings to survive, striping is a contracted recurring business where your calendar for the next 6 months can be largely decided in a single good quarter of outreach. 40 cents in paint, $7 collected, a machine that fits in the bed of your truck, and a country of parking lots that all fade on the same schedule. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, subscribe to the channel. Every video, one real business, the actual numbers, and an honest picture of what it takes to build it.